The Call of the Void. In the year 2147, the stars had long ceased to be a frontier of wonder and had become a graveyard of forgotten ambitions. Humanity's reach extended far beyond Earth, with colonies dotting the solar system and orbital stations serving as waypoints for interstellar trade, research, and military outposts. But not all stations endured. Some were abandoned, left to the merciless decay of space, victims of budget cuts, corporate greed, or unspoken disasters. Epsilon 9 was one such relic, orbiting the gas giant Zorath in the outer rim of the Sol Federation's territory. It had been a bustling hub once, a marvel of engineering with hydroponic gardens, zero-gravity labs, and docking bays for freighters carrying exotic minerals from asteroid belts. Then, without warning, the crew evacuated 20 years ago, leaving behind whispers of malfunction, mutiny, or something far worse. Captain Marcus Hale, a retired Marine from the Federation's elite Voidwalkers unit, knew the stories well. At 52, he was a man scarred by wars that no history book would glorify. Conflicts over resources on distant moons, skirmishes with pirate syndicates, and the endless grind of zero-G combat that left his body riddled with cybernetic enhancements. His left arm was a prosthetic masterpiece, gleaming chrome with haptic feedback that could crush steel or feel the whisper of a feather. His eyes, augmented with retinal implants, pierced the darkness like a predator's. But the wars had taken more than flesh. They'd stolen his purpose. Discharged honorably after a botched op on Titan that cost him his squad, Marcus drifted through the underbelly of Earth's megacities, taking odd jobs as a security consultant or bounty hunter. The bottle became his companion, and the void called to him in dreams. It was during one such haze, nursing a synth whiskey in a dingy bar on Luna's dark side, that the opportunity presented itself. A shadowy fixer named Lena Voss approached him, her holographic projection flickering in the dim light. "Captain Hale," she said, her voice smooth as polished obsidian. "I've got a salvage gig that screams your name. Epsilon 9. Abandoned, ripe for the picking. Federation's written it off. No patrols, no claims. Restore it, and it's yours. Sell the tech, scrap the hull, or turn it into your private fortress. Payment up front. Enough creds to buy a moonlet." Marcus squinted at her avatar. "Why me? Plenty of scavengers out there." "Because you're not just a scavenger. You're a survivor. And Epsilon 9. It's not your average derelict. Rumors say the crew left in a hurry. Left everything behind. But something spooked them. I need someone who won't run at the first glitch." He chuckled, a gravelly sound. "Spooked? Lady, I've stared down xenomorph swarms on Europa. A ghost station doesn't scare me." The deal was struck. With a shuttle leased from Voss's contacts and a cargo hold full of repair drones, welding kits, and life support modules, Marcus blasted off from Luna. The journey to Zorath took 3 weeks in cryo-sleep, his dreams haunted by the faces of fallen comrades. When he awoke, the station loomed before him, a colossal ring of metal, pocked with meteor scars, its solar arrays tattered like broken wings. Docking was a tense affair. The automated systems were offline, forcing him to manual pilot through a debris field of floating wreckage. As the airlock cycled, Marcus stepped into the dim corridors of Epsilon 9, his mag boots clanking against the grated floor. The air was stale, recycled 1,000 times over, carrying the faint metallic tang of rust and ozone. Emergency lights flickered sporadically, casting long shadows that danced like specters. He activated his suit's HUD, scanning for life signs. None. Power levels. Critical, barely enough to keep the core from imploding. Structural integrity. 47%. It was a miracle the thing hadn't spiraled into Zorath's atmosphere yet. "Home sweet home," he muttered, slinging his plasma rifle over his shoulder. Old habits died hard. His first task was assessment. Marcus roamed the station's levels, from the command deck with its shattered viewports overlooking the swirling storms of Zorath, to the engineering bays where fusion reactors hummed faintly on standby. Hydroponics was a jungle of withered vines, the once vibrant gardens now a desiccated tomb. In the crew quarters, personal effects lay scattered, hollow photos of families, half-eaten rations, even a child's toy floating in zero-G. It was as if everyone had vanished mid-shift. By the end of the first day, he'd mapped out priorities. Restore power, seal hull breaches, and reactivate life support. The repair drones buzzed to life under his command, their laser cutters slicing through damaged panels. Marcus worked tirelessly, his cybernetic arm welding conduits while his mind wandered to the why. Why abandon a station worth billions? Official reports cited catastrophic system failure, but that didn't explain the untouched valuables, rare isotopes in the labs, unmined data cores in the archives. As night fell, or what passed for it in space, Marcus settled into a makeshift bunk in the captain's quarters. The station creaked and groaned, the sounds amplified in the vacuum silence. In the dead of that artificial night, a faint signal pinged his comms, a looped distress beacon buried in the station's logs. Evacuate. Anomaly. Truth hidden in the core. It cut off abruptly. Marcus's eyes narrowed. The void had called, and it seemed the station was answering. Over the next weeks, restoration became a rhythm. Power surged back online as he jury-rigged the reactors, lights blooming like stars in the corridors. Life support hummed, pumping fresh oxygen from recycled scrubbers. He even coaxed the hydroponics back to life, planting seeds from his supplies, tomatoes, lettuce, a touch of earth in the stars. But anomalies persisted. Glitches in the AI system, shadows that moved when they shouldn't, and logs that deleted themselves upon access. One evening, while splicing wires in the lower decks, Marcus found a hidden compartment. Inside, a data slate, etched with a frantic message. They came from the rift. Not alone. The truth will doom us all. His pulse quickened. Rift what rift? This part ended with more questions than answers. But Marcus was hooked. The station wasn't just rotting, it was hiding something. And he, the ex-Marine, would unearth it. Echoes of the past. With power stabilized, Marcus turned his attention to the heart of Epsilon 9, the central core, a massive cylindrical chamber housing the station's quantum computer and experimental labs. It was sealed behind triple blast doors, the kind designed to withstand hull breaches or internal explosions. His drones had scanned it earlier intact, but offline. As he approached, mag boots echoing in the sterile hallway, a sense of foreboding settled over him like Zorath's gravity well. The doors groaned open after he overrode the locks with his marine clearance codes, perks of a dishonorable discharge that wasn't quite dishonorable enough to revoke access. Inside, the core was a cathedral of technology, towering servers humming faintly, holographic displays flickering with residual data ghosts, and in the center, a spherical containment field, dark and inert. What the hell were they doing here? Marcus whispered, his breath fogging the visor. He activated the main console, fingers dancing over the interface. Logs flooded in. Research on wormhole tech, attempts to punch through to alternate dimensions for faster-than-light travel. Epsilon 9 wasn't just a station. It was a black site lab for the Federation's wildest dreams. But the last entries were redacted, stamped with classified, Omega level. As he delved deeper, piecing together fragmented files, the story emerged. 20 years ago, under Dr. Elena Voss. Wait, Voss? The same surname as his contact? Coincidence. The team had detected a spatial anomaly near Zorath, a rift in spacetime. They probed it with drones, and something came back. Not just data, but entities. The logs described them as non-corporeal intelligences, shadows that infiltrated systems, whispering in the crew's minds. Marcus leaned back, rubbing his temples. Hallucinations? Mass hysteria? Or something real? Restoration pressed on. He repaired the docking bays, turning one into a workshop for his shuttle. Drones swarmed the outer hull, patching micrometeorite damage with nanite foam. The station began to feel alive again, lights steady, air crisp. He even broadcast a salvage claim beacon, staking his ownership under interstellar law. But the echoes grew louder. At night, he'd hear whispers in the vents, indistinct voices murmuring in languages that twisted his gut. His dreams intensified, visions of the rift, a swirling vortex of colors unseen, and shapes moving within. One morning, he awoke to find his quarters rearranged, furniture shifted, as if someone had searched them. Paranoia, he told himself, but he kept his rifle close. Exploring the labs yielded clues. In a biocontainment unit, he found preserved samples, crystalline structures that pulsed with inner light, labeled rift artifacts. Touching one sent a jolt through his prosthetic arm, visions flashing, alien worlds, vast intelligences observing humanity like insects. Dr. Voss's personal journal, hidden in a locker, painted a grim picture. The entities promise knowledge, but at a cost. They feed on thoughts, twisting reality. The crew is fracturing. Mutiny imminent. Must seal the core. Marcus's fixer, Lena Voss, perhaps a descendant? He combed her, but static answered. Isolated. As weeks turned to months, the station transformed. Hydroponics bloomed, providing fresh food. He rigged defenses, turret drones, motion sensors. But the rift called. Sensors detected it now, a faint distortion in Zorath's rings. One fateful shift, while calibrating the quantum core, the containment field activated unbidden. Inside, a holographic reconstruction of the anomaly. Marcus stared, mesmerized. Tendrils of energy reached out, probing his mind. Welcome, Restorer, a voice echoed in his head. Not audible, but internal. We have waited. He staggered back, rifle raised. The truth was awakening, shadows unveiled. The voice lingered like a bad hangover, echoing in Marcus's skull as he sealed the core and retreated to his quarters. We have waited. Who, or what was we? The entities from the rift? Ghosts of the crew? His own madness? He dove into the archives with renewed fury, hacking through encryptions with marine-grade algorithms. Pieced together, the puzzle revealed horror. Dr. Elena Voss, Lena's grandmother, had led the Rift project. Initial contacts were benign, exchanges of data, glimpses of parallel universes. But the entities hungered for more. They infiltrated the crew's neural implants, feeding on emotions, amplifying fears. Paranoia spread, accidents mounted. An engineer sabotaged life support, convinced his colleagues were imposters. The evacuation was a desperate flight, leaving the station to contain the breach. But it hadn't worked. The entities lingered, dormant in the systems, waiting for a new host. Marcus felt their touch now, subtle manipulations. Lights dimmed when he approached certain areas, doors locked inexplicably. His cybernetics glitched, phantom pains shooting through his arm. He confronted it head-on. Armored in his old Voidwalker suit, he returned to the core, activating isolation protocols. Show yourselves, he demanded. The containment sphere ignited, projecting a swarm of ethereal forms. Shimmering shadows with eyes like black holes. We are the observers, they intoned collectively. From beyond the veil. Your kind pierced our realm, we reciprocate. What do you want? Marcus growled, finger on the trigger. Union. Knowledge shared. But your minds, fragile. We adapt. They revealed flashes. The Federation knew of the rift, sanctioned the experiments to weaponize it. But when control slipped, they abandoned the station, erasing records to hide the failure. The truth was a cover-up, thousands of similar black sites, playing with fire that could unravel reality. Marcus's world shattered. His wars, his losses, pawns in a larger game. Rage fueled him. He overclocked the core, initiating a purge sequence to expel the entities. But they fought back. Systems rebelled. Drones turned hostile, swarming him. He blasted through corridors, plasma bolts scorching metal. In engineering, he battled a possessed automaton, its limbs twisting unnaturally. Wounded, he reached the rift probe controls. If you're from there, go back, he snarled, reversing the polarity. The station shook as the anomaly widened, pulling shadows into the vortex. But one lingered, whispering, the truth is not done. Deeper lies await. As stability returned, Marcus collapsed, the station his once more. But doubts gnawed. Was it over? The ultimate revelation. Exhaustion claimed Marcus, but victory was hollow. The entities were gone, or so sensors claimed. The station hummed efficiently, fully restored. Power at 100%, defenses online. Even the AI rebooted with safeguards. He broadcast his claim, drawing interest from salvagers and corporations. Lena Voss finally responded, her hollow frantic. Marcus, what have you done? Grandma's work. Your grandma unleashed hell, he snapped. Federation covered it up. Why send me? Silence, then, to contain it. Or exploit it. But you fixed it. He ended the call. Trust evaporated. Days later, while analyzing Rift data, he uncovered the deepest layer. The entities weren't invaders. They were echoes, human consciousnesses from a parallel timeline. where the Federation's experiments collapsed reality. They sought merger to prevent the same fate here. The truth, Epsilon 9 was a warning. Continuing the path would doom all. Marcus faced a choice: destroy the station or warn the galaxy. He chose the latter, hacking Federation networks with the station's quantum rig, broadcasting evidence. Chaos ensued. Riots on Earth, inquiries launched. Marcus became a legend, the Marine who revived a ghost and exposed corruption. But in quiet moments, staring at Zorath, he wondered if the echoes lingered in him. The void answered with silence, but he was no longer alone. The station thrived under his command, a beacon of redemption. And the truth? It set him free.